Alright guys, so in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to effectively overclock your NVIDIA card. So this will pretty much work for anything up to the 980 Ti as of right now, because that's the latest and greatest NVIDIA card that's out. But unless something major happens in the future, this process should be more or less the same. And if it's not, I'll make sure to put up a annotation now so I don't waste anybody's time. So first thing you're going to want to do is get yourself a benchmarking utility. The one that I like to use is Valley Benchmark, so I'll just open it up real quick so you can see what it looks like. This is the benchmarking utility. You have all your presets right here, and this works great for me. I've been using it since my 680s, and it's it's really good at keeping your your GPU under load, so you can see if your overclocks are stable. Second thing you're going to want to do is pick up some type of monitoring software. So I'm using CPU hardware monitor. You don't have to use this one, but I like this one because it gives you your max temps here and your minimums and what it currently is. So that's why I use this one, is just to keep an eye on your temperatures. And then you're going to need your overclocking utility. So I'm using EVGA Precision X16, or I think this is 16. Anyway, some type of overclocking utility. This is just the EVGA brand that actually came with my 980 Ti. And I've been using this also since my 680, and I love it. So if you're using EVGA Precision, then will be even more helpful to you. And now the most important thing that made a huge difference in my overclock, and I can't stress this enough, is you're going to want to right-click, go to NVIDIA Control Panel, wait for it to open up, and then go to Manage 3D Settings. It'll be right over here underneath the 3D Settings tab. You click on that, this screen will pop up, and you're going to want to scroll down under the Global Settings. You're going to want to make sure that let's see here, Power Management Mode, Prefer Maximum Performance should be clicked. Not Adaptive. It'll be on Adaptive by default, but Prefer Maximum Performance is what you're going to want to do. Once you change that, there will be a little Apply button down here. Mine's already done, so there is no Apply button. So apply that, and you should be good to go. Second thing you might want to do, this is personal preference. I always do this just because I like my clocks to be running at full clock 24/7. It's just the way I am. So I put K-Boost on. You click this, and it pretty much makes it so that your clocks aren't dynamic anymore. Your GPU should run at the boost clock all the time. So that's just something I do. And lastly, I like to turn off the on-screen display off because I use EVGA Experience, and that has a little FPS counter up here, and I like that more than this on-screen thing that Precision comes with. So let's start using the overclocking utility. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. Oh, one last thing. I always run iTunes whenever I'm on the computer. It's on my startup. So any programs that you use all the time, you might want to think about having up while doing your overclocking, because then it's more realistic to the load you'll be putting on your computer. So I always have iTunes up, so therefore I'm going to have iTunes in my while doing my overclocking. So with that out of the way, what you're going to want to do now is to come over here to the EVGA Precision window. I'll go ahead and put that in the middle, and you're going to want to put this power target to 110%. It'll automatically bring up your GPU temp unless you unlink them, but 91's fine. And then you can start your overclocking. So what you're going to want to do is start at a number that you feel that your computer can handle. Now, if you just got this card and you're not really used to overclocking, go ahead and Google what people are averagely getting for their overclocks for your card. So my 980 Ti, I've seen pretty much everywhere on the internet that everybody's getting at least over 100 on the GPU clock offset. So I'm going to go ahead and just put mine to 100. You can use the arrow keys, makes it easier to get to the number. And then you're going to want to apply, and you'll see my GPU clock jump up to 1403. And then you're going to minimize that, open up Valley Benchmark, and you would hit run, or whatever benchmarking utility you want. Now, you would run this for half an hour. If you get through that benchmark, then you're probably okay to go ahead and turn up your clock speeds. So if it's, say, yours got past 100 megahertz, it went half an hour without a problem, go ahead and throw it up to 125. If it gets through that, then go ahead and go to 150. Now mine, when I got to 150, it crashed. So I knew that I can't go over 150. So my sweet spot is probably somewhere between 125 and 150. So I pretty much cut that in half, and I got to 140. At 140, I still crashed. So then I brought it down to 135. And at 135, it ran for half an hour without a problem. Or actually, I'm sorry, at 140, it ran for half an hour. So was curious to see how long it would run for, so I let it up for an hour, and with like 5 or 6 minutes left, it crashed. So I knew it was no good. Brought it down to 145, ran it for an hour, and it ran just fine. So that's pretty much the thinking behind your overclocking. You want to try something, and if it doesn't work, then you want to tone it back down. I do half an hour until it crashes. Once it crashes, I turn the clocks down, and if it doesn't crash, I'll let it run for an hour. If it gets through an hour, it's probably stable. So that's just something to keep in mind. So now that you have your GPU clock offset squared away, you're going to want to bring it back down to 0, or you can just hit default, put everything back to default, and just raise up your power target and your GPU temp target. And go to the memory clock offset. Now this one, as far as I can tell, you can be a lot more demanding with this one. When I did mine, I started at 450 and it ran just fine. I brought it up to 500 and it crashed. So again, half an hour, let it run. If it crashes, tone it down, do another half an hour. If it gets through that and you're happy with the number, then let it run for an hour or an hour and a half to make sure that it's stable. But I got up to 450 and it was still going strong. I actually got mine up to, I have a preset here with my personal 980 Ti setting, so I got up to 495. This took a while to get to because, it would crash, I have to start over. It was just a pain in the neck, but, you put the time in and you can really squeeze a lot more performance out of these cards than you might think. So once you got your memory clock offset, what you're going to want to do is you can stop now and you be happy. Once you have these two figured out, what you're going to want to do is run your benchmark for at least an hour. I'd say even 2 hours. If it can get through 2 hours on your settings here, you most likely fine. Go ahead and play some video games. If it crashes, then at least you know that you went too far. And you'll know that you went too far because your drivers will crash, and you'll probably get some type of either like an error, a blue screen, or a little thing will come up that says, NVIDIA drivers failed but recovered, something like that. So if anything driver related goes wrong, that's how you know you failed, that those clock speeds failed. So then you got to tone something back. So these was what worked for me. I got 135 on the GPU clock offset, which brought me up to 1463, and I got 495 on my memory clock offset, which brings me up quite a bit. I don't know the number off the top of my head. It's somewhere in here. Either way, that's just what I got off the memory. You don't have to worry about the memory too much. I mean, yeah, it gives you a performance hit, but games, the GPU clock offset is what I'm personally really into. So that's a pretty good overclock. It's very average for the 980 Ti's. And lastly, what you can do is you can mess with your voltage. Now, I overvolted mine by 43 megavolts. It's pretty safe at 1.237 volts on the card, so it's still safe. My temperature doesn't get over around 75 degrees, which I'm perfectly fine with. And my fan, it spins up. It's kind of loud, but I always have my air conditioner on, so it doesn't really bother me. That's personal preference. The GPU temperature is personal preference, as long as it's not hitting something ridiculous like, over 80 or 85. Whatever you're comfortable with, your temperature-wise, is completely up to you, and the sound, from your graphics card itself is also up to you. So I'm fine with both of those things at these settings. The card's loud, but not that loud. So that's pretty much it. That's all there is to it. Once you have these dialed in, you can save it to a profile by right-clicking any of these numbers. Once you right-click, any of the settings that you have in here will become the settings that are underneath these profiles, and then you right-click again to get rid of them. Down here in the right-hand corner, it tells you your graphics cards. This is on startup, so that this overclock starts automatically on startup, and so is EVGA precision. And then you can go into your monitoring settings if you want. I don't do that. But that's pretty much it. It's a lot of time, but once you get it dialed down, you don't really have to worry about it again. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you liked this video, feel free to give me a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.